introduction.
Oh my god.
Okay. Hey, welcome to Media Frenzy, the podcast where we talk about various media as we get to know each other. I'm Gracie,
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Hallie.
I'm Chloe.
and this week I'm hosting, and it is book month, but I kind of wanted to do a spin on it where we just kind of talk about the impact of really books and the archetypes and kind of like tropes that they introduce that still stick to this day in various tellings of media, and also our society and how it really shaped like general public perspective. So the main thing I wanted to hark on, which I'll start with, is the like misunderstood man archetype. Like with Jane Eyre and like Mr. Rochester and Mr. Darcy, which I feel like it just morphed into like, all of these modern like Edward Cullen, like I can fix him kind of things. And I feel like it really morphed into like a social understanding of just like troubled men, I can fix that. So what do
Like
we
Bad Boys.
think? Yes, so like Bad Boys, that's like, well, he's just a misunderstood guy and he just needs someone in his life that understands him and I can fix him and I can make him whatever. So I just kind of wanted to say, like, what are your understandings of the bad boy archetype, or like your favorite bad boy in media?
I'm gonna just say you can't fix anybody. They can only fix themselves, but even then, nobody can really change. I think that people can change their habits, but it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of mindset restructuring and reprogramming of the brain. But nobody can really fix anyone. I think that especially girls think that that's like what you said, Gracie, is such a frustrating just thing that like girls just like mindsets that like girls tend to get into, and it's like it just eats away at them, and it's very like that's when they get themselves into trouble of just like staying with somebody that they shouldn't be with. That's like because they continue to think, oh well, like this happened, and like movies and books like that have kind of really damaged like that sort of oh well, like what am I trying to say? Like they've made it into a realistic thing, like when it really is not. And it's just like
That's actually kind of the next point I was gonna go on. How it is like really talks how like a lot of these tropes or archetypes in that started in books that have stayed tried and true throughout various medias are actually really unrealistic. Um, and like they're actually very unhealthy and toxic. Or at least the way that they've been interpreted, because for like Mr. Darcy, he is healthy because the story is like he changed himself, not trying to, like hoping that it would win her back, but it wasn't like I did this for you. It was like I did this for you to make you happy, but I accept whether you choose me or not.
well then like
And
I think the whole thing with Mr. Darcy was like I haven't fully read Pride and Prejudice. I've seen like the longer movie. But I think like the whole thing that I've heard about with Pride and Prejudice is like he goes and kind of, yeah, like what you just said, it's not like for her necessarily. Like he kind of does it maybe in the hopes that he would like, you know, attract her and everything, but he gained a lot of integrity and like went and did all these things that like helped other people, but he didn't like tell her about it or tell anybody about it. He
yeah,
just did them. Which is
I
cool.
see it kind of as like she was the motivation, but she wasn't the end goal of him changing himself as a person. But like, I don't know, what do you guys think?
I mean, like, I think
Hallie, you're
that
smiling a lot.
I'm just happy to be here.
Okay, okay. I just feel like you're about to say something and I don't.
No, I'm just listening. I'm,
Okay, okay.
I'm just being an active listener,
Oh,
emoting and
okay.
yeah.
responding.
I mean, like the bad boy trope or whatever, like I can fix him. It's like I do agree it's like harmful in real life, but I feel like from like a reader's perspective, it's like really engaging. Like it's really interesting to read about. It's like, oh my gosh, he's changing, like, oh my gosh, he's changing for the female protagonist or whatever. But like a lot of the times they like, they do that so they can get with the girl. And in real life, like if a guy changes, it's like only so they can like get with someone and then they go back to their like ways how they were like after they initially get with them or after they break up or whatever. So I just yeah, you can't really apply it to real life. People can change, but like don't expect it to be like a Jane Austen novel.
I I I was just thinking when you brought this up, my friend that goes to the University of Oregon, and they weren't able to take this class because it didn't fit into their schedule, but they were offering a class called um, "The Sad White Men of Literature," and
Yes.
we looked at the syllabus and it was just like all these like a whole list of like classic novels that had this trope in it. Um, but you asked like who our favorite sad
Yeah.
man is.
Yes. Who
I
is the favorite
honestly
sad
can't
man?
think of any. Like I know they're all there, but why can't I think of a single one other than Mr. Darcy?
My mind
Because
went to
Mr.
Kylo
Darcy's
Ren,
dreamy.
but
Kylo Ren.
Oh, that's
yeah,
actually
but I
really
don't like
That's a
good.
him.
good one.
I have beef with him.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
got
why do you
beef
have
with
beef with
Kylo Ren.
Kylo
I just
Ren?
I don't want to get into it.
What about Ben Swallow?
Oh, no, no.
Okay.
That's like too aggressive. I'm like, oh my gosh, get it out of my face. Like, put it away. Anyway,
But like on top of that, like continuing with the idea of romance, I just was thinking of like when I was coming up with this, I was gathering kind of with my thoughts, but like especially Romeo and Juliet, of how it's really just kind of influenced modern thinking or like modern romanticization of like whatever, of like these just tropes that are in movies, TVs, whatever, that started in books because obviously it's a tried and true kind of formula, but it's influenced our thinking of like what things should be. So like in my thought of Romeo and Juliet, like it's been remade so many times and it's just like I just think it's so interesting how it really is just a bloodbath over a weekend like romance.
yeah, and they're both like Juliet
Children.
is 13
Yeah.
and I think Romeo's like 17 or something. And that's like crazy. And then states like our state has like the Romeo and Juliet laws about like weird age gaps or something.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird how stuff like that can influence like actual real life, even if it shouldn't in any capacity.
You know, I just realized you said I can tell you who my least favorite. I can't tell you who my favorite is, but my
I mean,
least favorite sad men are from Phantom of the Opera. Both
oh
Oh my
yes.
male
God.
characters, Raoul and what the heck is the Phantom's
His
name?
name is Eric.
Eric. Yeah,
Yeah.
with a K because
Anyway,
it's cooler.
yeah.
Um,
He's like
they're
that.
the worst. It became like a joke in my last English class how much I hated Phantom of the Opera. Like, because all the characters were like that.
Yeah.
And the main girl, she's like naive to a fault. Like, not so much that it's like, oh, she doesn't understand. Like, she's like actively like people tell her things and she actively refuses to believe such atrocities. Like this man is a kidnapper and
Yeah.
uh, is going to kill you and everyone you love. And she's like, oh, but he's just misunderstood. And I'm like, no, no, he's not just misunderstood. That is that is a criminal. That is he's stalking
These
you.
are these are criminal behaviors and this is problematic and she's just kind of like he's just misunderstood. You just don't
Poor guy.
Yeah.
understand.
I can change him. And that's like what
You
happens in
can't.
the musical.
Yes.
Yeah.
She literally did like she like kisses him once and then he's like, oh my God, I'm like the worst person ever. I gotta
Yeah,
do
I mean
something
that's how
about
it
this.
is in the book too. At the end of
Yeah,
it, spoilers for the Phantom of the Opera.
yeah,
So, spoilers. He's like gonna keep her other boyfriend prisoner
Yes.
forever and
yeah.
like try to marry her. And like the only reason he's gonna stay alive is if she marries him. And then she like he like bemoans how she's never gonna truly love him because obviously he kidnapped her and her boyfriend. And
Yes.
then she's like, "Oh, poor Eric," and like kisses his forehead, and he's like, "You're so nice. You
Yes.
go.
He's an
You can
incel.
go. Get
It
married."
really That's what I mean. Like, just like these toxic ideas that come from really good stories. Like, for a story and a character, that's a
Mhm.
really good idea. But for real life, it's actually really problematic because that's not
Yeah.
really how humans work. Where he's just like, oh, you love him. And because you love him, I am a jerk.
Yeah, you're
Be
so right.
free.
What was I thinking?
Currently
Across
thinking
the
about like the Twilight dilemma
Yes.
yeah.
where it's like everybody like I'll just go ahead and say one of my guilty pleasures is watching the movies every summer. I don't know, it's like I love the movies. They're like a piece of crap, but
Yeah.
No,
so
I'm
it's like
right here with you. I love the second one.
yes, it's like
It's the best one in my opinion. But that's
right,
neither
talking
here nor
about
there.
Romeo and Juliet. Like
Yeah.
um but it's like, oh my gosh, it's like I started reading the first book and I have yet to finish it. I need to like keep reading the series because this series is actually really good. Like in the books, like they're completely different characters. Like Edward, he's so much more like he's himself. He's like a vampire and everything, but he's so much more like he kind of like teases her and like messes with her a little bit and like, and she's a lot more intellectual and like smart and just not whatever Kristen Stewart's interpretation of Bella Swan is. But anyways, I no hate on Kristen Stewart. I just whatever. But I
It's
like
not her fault the script was written like that.
And the
yes.
director, like the director chose to have them act this way. Like he wasn't like, let's just, hey, this isn't the thing we're looking for. He
Mm.
would literally went, you need every single emotion you feel, you have to go,
It was actually directed by a woman. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it
oh,
was
was it? I'm
the
not
That's
sure.
first.
SMH
crazy.
Gracie
I've never wa
sexism.
I've never watched the movies actually.
They're
I
very good.
I know
Yeah,
of clips.
they're like
I
good.
one of my
They're
favorite
fun to
clips.
watch.
I've never watched it, but I need to. One of my favorite clips is when Jacob gets the invitation and he's just shirtless for no reason and he just like throws it down in the rain.
Oh, okay, wait. I have to ask this now that I brought up the whole Twilight thing. Are you guys team Edward or team Jacob or neither?
I'm a Team Jacob except for the weird Renesmee thing. Because I
Oh,
just feel like he's like better for her. I don't know.
better for Bella or
Yeah, better for Bella, not for Renesmee. We're just like we're writing that out. The entire
who's
story.
Renesmee? I don't know.
Yeah, who's Renaissance? I don't
It
know.
is funny though.
Renaissance.
It is funny, like in the movies, they kind of make fun of that a little bit. Like when she's like, "Oh, I kind of like Renesmee," like,
You
and then
nicknamed my
Charlie
daughter
goes
after the
like,
Loch Ness Monster.
"What?"
You nicknamed my
Hey,
daughter
my
after the
daughter.
Loch Ness Monster. I held her one time, Jacob. One time. That's
It
like
cracks me
almost
up how like Charlie, like when Charlie meets her, he's like Renesmee, and then like I don't know, they just make fun of it. Like even Jacob's just kind of like okay, but I don't know. What about Hallie and Gracie? Which y'all pick?
I've never seen the movies. I've read the first like two chapters of the book and I really was not enjoying it, so I stopped. Um, but like I at this point I feel like I don't need to because the whole plot is, it seems like everybody basically just knows it. Like they play baseball that one time.
that's
Uh
that's a that's a very iconic scene.
yeah. Uh I'm still not sure why they did that. Like was there a reason or was it just like for the vibes?
I think it was
It,
for the vibes.
They were just
Like,
having fun.
Okay,
it
so
was
it was
like
baseball day that day.
They're
it was
all
like
American vampires.
I mean, like the rival like vampire like faction or whatever like met them there, but there was no real reason for them to like play baseball except like bond with Bella or something.
All right, baseball. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Anyway,
vampire
yeah, so I don't
baseball.
really have an answer, so I guess I would have to say neither because I think they're both kind of weird. I guess from all the clips I see though, Jacob's like a little less weird. Like Edward's kind of
I don't
creepy.
know. He fell in love with a fetus,
Well,
so
there is
He
that.
couldn't help it.
He couldn't
Also, we
help
don't
it.
talk about that.
Uh,
well, and then there's like all these women that are like, I used to be team Edward or Jacob, but now like there's Charlie.
That is so real. Oh my
Like
God.
I'm
I was
like
gonna say Hot take. I am team neither. I'm not even team mustache dad, but his mustache is impeccable, and also I like his comedic vibes of just constantly drinking.
Charlie,
Because he's really the most realistic character where he's just like, oh God, cracks open a beer. It's like, based only on the clips I've seen, I am for him. Not
yeah,
even
Yeah.
in like a he's hot way. I just like that he brings the realism, constantly getting drunk.
He's the voice
Just
of
like,
reason.
yeah. And
yeah.
like I do know the scene because people send it to me of like Jacob showing him his werewolf form and he starts like
Oh,
getting
yeah.
undressed and he's like, "Whoa, Jacob!" He's like, "What are you doing? Put your clothes back on." And I'm like, "You know what? I can get behind Mustache Dad."
You know, this is actually, I feel like, sort of relevant. And we're talking about Twilight and we're talking about sad boys,
Sad men, yes.
sad men and sad
Simple.
boys. Uh, the trope of vampires.
Yes.
Let like, I feel like there's something to unpack there beyond just Twilight. I feel like Twilight really
I
was
think
the
I
that
mean,
kind of
trendsetter.
the trope
yeah.
of like monsters in general where it is just that like they're misunderstood or like oh they want to be good but there's something evil inside of them and they turn into this like monster.
Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, there's like a whole genre of like those like mass market paperback romance books that are like
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
men that shift into animals. They're like animal shifters.
Yeah.
There's a great YouTube video that the Game Grumps did a long time ago. If you guys are interested in this, where they try and guess bad romance titles based on just the cover and like the Amazon reviews.
I would love that so
It's
much.
so funny.
We could
Just
do
like
that
the
one day for one
stories.
of the
We
episodes.
that
That would be so much
would
fun.
be a good game.
Yes.
But like, yeah, it's like a genre of having
Oh
like
yeah.
a monstrous boy.
Like The
Yeah.
Shape of Water.
The Shape
That
of
movie's
Water.
crazy.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Just like all of these weird like formulas of just like misunderstood that started in book tropes that actually had positive like meanings because like Mr. Darcy, like I said, it's positive. Rochester, somewhat positive. Like it's like a journey situation and then like in our modern retellings we're like, but what if they don't do any personal growth at all and in fact they just stay hot and problematic?
Yeah.
Well, an
Just make
example
out a
of that,
lot
yeah.
on
So,
camera.
like something good, like a sad boy that is actually good. Zuko from
Yes.
Avatar. And he changes not for like a girl, but because he's
No.
just like, guys, I think fascism is bad.
Yeah, oh my
Whatever.
gosh.
Yes.
Like,
And he gets
dang.
a
Ugh.
much better haircut.
Mhm.
It really improves.
Yeah.
With his quality of life, his appearance also
Oh
improves.
wait.
Yeah.
I kind
Yeah.
of forgot. Caitlin, what is really quickly, what is your stance on Team Jacob, Edward, neither, or Mustache Dad,
Oh,
the alcoholic?
I mean, if I were in Bella's situation, I'd probably choose Jacob because he does make a fair point. Like if I had to choose between the two, like the main guys, because like I don't know, like he makes a fair point where he's like, "Look, I'm actually alive. Like we can
Real.
like, grow like and not just like outlive each other or something, or whatever." Um so and he's like not like freezing cold. I feel like that'd be a little uncomfortable if like you go in for a hug and you're like, "Ow," like
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Ow.
that's just
Oh.
You get frostbite.
No.
Go, ugh. Ugh.
It's Valentine's Day. You get your one yearly side hug from your boyfriend,
And you're just like,
and
oh,
your whole side just
Ugh.
is blistered from
oh my
alcohol.
I
God.
mean, it's a good thing that Carlisle's a doctor. So
I might be
Oh
Team
no.
Carlisle. I don't know. He's a doctor.
honestly, that is so real.
I don't know. I have no idea really.
What about
But
Renee? His
Not
wife.
Renee.
keeping us back on track, what I was gonna say is like with this like modern about this idea of book tropes, archetypes, whatever, carrying into the modern retellings of these stories from so long ago that explore just human ideas and emotions continuously just being hits and influencing like our modern mindset. And I know this isn't really related to a modern mindset necessarily, but I just kept thinking of Hamlet. because I'm like, it's Lion King is Hamlet, straight up. Like,
It's true.
You said
I've
Lion
never read
King is
Hamlet.
Hamlet?
Yeah,
yes,
Lion King is Hamlet.
I've
Yeah.
actually
It's
never seen Hamlet,
Macbeth.
so I don't really understand that very well.
Yeah, it's the same play, but
it's
it's
literally the
lions.
same.
Yeah.
It's the
As
uncle
people.
is jealous of the throne, so he kills the king, and then he's like, "Wow, can't believe you did that, Simba Hamlet." So I can't believe you've done this.
I,
Can't believe you've
not,
done this.
I can't believe you've done this. Also, speaking of sad boys, a lot of people simp for Scar.
Scar.
So, yeah.
And then the
What is
sequel,
about
Kovu.
that? Like, oh my gosh, my like, first celebrity crush is Simba. What
I
are you
don't know.
talking about? Like,
Listen, Matthew Broderick is fine. I guess JTT was like in his day, but these are cartoon animals, people.
True. When you're a kid, though, I don't think you fully.
But it's an animal. It's like I
Yeah,
get the
like,
cartoon
they
stuff,
emote like
but I don't
human
get the
faces when
animal.
you're a child.
I mean, I will say what is that oh God, I'm gonna show how little like how long ago I watched Lion King. But that one scene with Nala and Simba, it is rewatching it as an adult, you're just like, this is
It's a
it's a
little
It's
little
like a
much.
much
lot.
Disney.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
it's a
like
little
even
too
when I was
much
a kid, I
Disney.
was like, there's something off about this. It seems a little, they're looking at each other a little too funny. What is happening?
I
They
can
were
It goes
getting
only
on
a
for a
little
little
imagine
silly for this
long.
movie.
I can only imagine a small child just being like,
Like, what
what?
what are we doing here,
You
guys?
don't realize this as a kid, but once you're older, you're like, this is just a song about. This, I know. Oh, oh no.
Oh.
Right? Or like the fact that in the beginning of the movie, aren't they talking about being paired anyway?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
betrothed,
Yeah, and it's kind of like, well, that's a little weird.
but they're not into it at the time. They're like, ew,
No, but like
Like
we're best
talking
present.
friends. We could never
talking about
be married.
betrothals kind of weird. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of brush over that. Like,
Yeah.
what would they have done if they didn't fall in love? Were they still gonna be stuck together?
I
Yeah,
guess. Arranged marriage. That's also a trope.
Arranged
true.
marriage. It
Yeah.
is the
I can't think of
Stockholm
any
syndrome
examples.
thing where they fall for their captor or whatever.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, another Disney movie. Another movie where
Yikes.
people think
Yeah.
the guy is hot, but as a beast.
Well, he's kind of ugly when he turns back into a human. To
He
be
is
fair.
fine. Like not fine as in fine, but fine as in like he looks normal. Like I
Oh,
don't know.
I thought you were really
No,
championing
Fine.
no,
for
no.
for human version of Beast.
Like,
I'm
You're
like
like,
an
he's
advocate, but I'm
fine.
that's
not
my
like
favorite Disney prince right there. How dare you slander him?
I'm like an advocate, but I'm not like a stan.
Okay.
Wait, who are
All
y'all's
right,
favorite Disney princes?
hmm
I'll go first.
Dang.
Flynn Rider. I love Flynn Rider.
okay, yeah,
Flynn
that's
Rider. His
That's a
Okay.
name
good
is
one.
Eugene Fitzherbert.
Oh,
Oh,
fake
That's the name.
fan.
you're right, Chloe. It is Eugene Fitzherbert. Flynn
Mhm.
slash Eugene. But yeah.
When she doesn't even know his name.
I feel
fake
like I
fan
would
over here.
agree with you. He's like a gentleman.
Yes. And well,
He's funny.
going along though with like the like going back to the beginning of like the first like trope, like bad guy
Mm.
like changes or whatever, like
Oh
she
my
doesn't
god.
influence him at all. I mean, like she doesn't try to do anything, like she just is kind of like, I still want to go do this, like, and
Yeah.
he just kind of like follows along with her, but he like,
It's like her passion inspires him to be better.
Yeah.
yeah, like he's like
But it's not like
inspired.
he's
It's
changing
not
actively
for
for
him.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the doing the trope right. Good job, Disney, after
Yeah,
all
way
this
to go.
time.
Like
You guys
it's
got
because
something.
of her, but not for her.
Yeah.
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 Also,
I-
like, that's the greatest Disney love song.
Yes.
Oh,
That movie.
definitely.
I cry every time because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but there's like when she touches like the one lantern, it's her parents.
It's
Yeah.
her lantern.
Like when I noticed that, I just sobbed and I cry every time I watch the movie.
I guess I don't know. I don't really think about that often.
No,
Kind
I
of
have a
Prince
favorite.
Naveen.
Mm,
Real.
good choice.
Okay, Chloe, who's your favorite?
Shang. Like there's no other option.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
So is he a prince
Come on.
though? Does he count?
He's not a prince, isn't
He's
is
not
he?
a prince, but he's like the love
He's a
interest.
warrior.
He's like the general.
He's a love interest in a princess movie.
That's
So,
well, she's
Okay.
not a princess either.
but she's part of the Disney princess line.
She is. I've always
so
wondered
Okay.
it
about that.
counts.
A little
Like the main
strange.
character, like female heroine.
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, well, let's see. What have we learned today, ladies?
Bad boys.
There's a mustache drunk in Twilight. I learned that. I didn't know that before.
To be careful of animals turning into real men. And to
True.
You're trash.
Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. And this was the wrap up of Book Month. Next week, we're going to be starting Movie Month with Caitlin, who is wanting to specialize in movies. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for joining.
See
Bye.
y'all.
No, 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 no.